Oh, yes, no problem, Prabhu.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjala Shalakaya Chakshuru Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Kadamayam Dadanti Sva Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Raguna Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijanam Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalitam Shri Vitam Kampitam Scha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tap Tap Kanchana Gorange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrisabhanu Sutudevi Pranamari Haripe Vancha Kalpa Tripayascha Kripa Sindhu Bahevacha Paditanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaham Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Praschata De Satarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Ribo. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Haribo. And Prabhu, can I ask you first? You see, after saying Hare Krishna,
Yes, Prabhu.
there was this, there was this mini prayer. I don't know. I saw it on the videos. It goes like Kwam Kam Karoti Vachak Pa Kam Numna, something like that. Yaite Grim Yakripa Goma Hom Vande Shri Guru Shri Natarinam. You see, something like that.
Is it in Tatvait Prabhu's lecture?
Now I saw it in one of the lectures, but I forgot. But I'll send it to you when I find it.
Okay, Prabhu. Yes, I don't remember
Yes.
it.
Okay, Prabhu.
Okay, so now we read about John Dewey. Who was he?
Oh yes.
Hagriv Das. Dewey believed that religions are basically myths and the experiences of the utmost necessity. He considered philosophy superior to religion. The form in philosophy ceases to be that of the story told in imaginative and emotional style. He writes, it becomes that of rational discourse observing the canons of logic. For him, the Vedic accounts of Krishna's pastimes would be purely mythical. La Prabhupada. Krishna is a historical fact. He is not imaginary. The Mahabharata is accepted by all Indian authorities, especially by the Acharyas, who control the spiritual life of India. They do not, however, accept Mr. Dewey's imaginative thinking. Hagriv does. When science began to investigate the phenomenal universe without admitting the proprietorship of God, a breakdown in morality and value ensued. Dewey tried to reassemble these shattered values in philosophical way, but he, like science, attempted to do so without acknowledging the proprietorship of a supreme being. Srila Prabhupada. That is simply a form of lunacy, because everything has a proprietor. Why should this great cosmic manifestation not have a proprietor? It is natural and logical to accept the proprietor. Who would think that an organized nation has no government? How can a logical man come to such conclusions? Hagrid does. He felt that science dealt a death blow to the orthodox historical religions as we know them. La Prabhupada. As I have repeatedly explained, religion means accepting the laws of God. The whole cosmic manifestation has the date of creation and is therefore historical. Anything material that has a beginning has a history. But long before this cosmic manifestation was created, religion existed. We are tiny people and know the small history of this world. which extends for some thousands of years. But the history of Brahma is far different. That history covers billions and billions of Earth years. At the same time, our history is different from an ant's history. So, historically speaking, everything is relative according to the living entity computing or experiencing the history. Most people have no information of greater personalities, which we call the demigods, but Vedic literatures inform us that in the higher planetary systems, the standard of life is different and the duration longer. Unless one has true knowledge of the entire universe, unless one has thorough knowledge of the entire universe, religions may seem imaginary. But what is imaginary to one may be factual to another. For an ant, the history of man is imaginary. Unfortunately, scientists and philosophers on this planet are thinking in their own terms and taking everything they think to be factual. On the other hand, whatever they cannot conceive, they consider mythological. Hagrid does. Writing in the early part of this century, Dewey felt that it was high time to set aside all superstitious religions. According to him, logic demands that in imagination we wipe the slate clean and start afresh by asking what would be the idea of the unseen. In other words, we must define God and religion anew. Srila Prabhupada, yes, that is required. Srimad Bhagavatam rejects all religions considered to be cheating religions because they do not contain perfect knowledge. Dharma prochita kaitavatro paramo nirmatsaranam satam vedyam vastam atra vastu shivadam tapatrayon malu Trayonmulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite Kim Va Parair Ishvara Satrit Avaruchyate Tra Kritibi Shushrushu Bishtakshanat completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated. This Bhagavad Purana propounds the highest truth, which is understandable by those devotees who are pure in heart. The highest truth is reality distinguished from illusion for the welfare of all. Such truth uproots the threefold miseries. This beautiful Bhagavatam, compiled by the great sage Sri Vyasadeva, is sufficient in itself for God realization. As soon as one attentively and submissively hears the message of Bhagavatam, he becomes attached to the Supreme Lord. Bhagavatam 112. The sum and substance of Bhagavata religion is the acceptance of God as supreme controller. Janma dasya jato nvayad itaradas charches abhigyana svarat. Bhagavatam 111. That is the principle. Brahman is he from whom everything emanates. Unless we know the ultimate source of emanation, our knowledge is imperfect. Our experience tells us that everything has a source of emanation. Similarly, this entire creation has a history and a source from which it has emanated. Just because we are unable to reach that source, we should not think that it is imaginary. There is no question of starting a new religion because religion is always there. Someone must be the supreme controller, and that someone is called God. We may ask, well, what is your experience? We experience inert matter without consciousness, and we experience consciousness. We cannot go beyond this. Above this, there is one controller, a third element, which is the absolute truth, the controller of visible, animate, and inanimate objects. Why is it difficult to understand this? Hagrid does. In A Common Fate, Dewey writes, what I have been criticizing is the identification of the ideal with a particular being, especially when that identification makes necessary the conclusion that this being is outside of nature. And what I have tried to show is that the ideal itself has its roots in natural conditions. Srila Prabhupada. God does not arise out of nature. God is the supreme controller in charge of nature. How can anyone think that this great phenomenon, which we call nature, has no controller? How can anyone think that everything is happening automatically? I agree thus. Dewey sees God emerging out of man's striving for perfection. Srila Prabhupada, God is already there, and man's perfection depends on his ability to understand God. It is not that a perfect man can create God through his imagination. Anything created by man is controlled, but God is the supreme controller. If man dies under the control of the supreme, how can he be said to create or control the supreme? If he cannot control what is already imposed by God, birth, old age, disease, and death, how can he imagine or create God? First, one should become independent of the laws of God before thinking of creating God. I agree with that. It appears that Dewey wants to use the word God to serve his own ends, promoting his philosophic conceptions of the working union of the ideal and actual. He writes, use of the words God or divine to convey the union of actual with the ideal may protect man from a sense of isolation and from consequent despair of defiance or defiance. Srila Prabhupada. Of course, one may define God, but one must be a Muni, a very learned man, to define him properly. For instance, one may say, God is there or God is great. We can go on from there to define his greatness. This greatness includes ultimate greatness in six opulences: power, wealth, knowledge, fame, beauty, and renunciation. Only God possesses these opulences in complete fullness. When Krishna was present on this planet, he proved that he was the strongest, the most influential, the most beautiful and pure, and the most supremely wise. Krishna's teachings, Bhagavad Gita, are still being studied all over the world. Great acharyas like Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Nimbarka, Sankaracharya, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu have all accepted Krishna as the Supreme Lord. There is complete agreement among the authorities that Krishna is God. There is no question of mythology. Krishna lifting of Govardhan Hill is described in Srimad Bhagavatam, and when speculators read it, they consider it to be mythological. But really, is it difficult for God to lift the hill? If he is all powerful, what is the difficulty? When God comes and shows his godly powers, we should not consider it mythical. Agriv does. Unlike Marx and Comte, Dewey rejects humanity as an object of worship. He writes, nature produces whatever gives reinforcement and direction, but also what occasions discord and confusion. The divine is thus a term of human choice and aspiration. Srila Prabhupada. There is no question of human choice. Can you say that that is your choice? Obviously, there is force, and where is that force coming from? No one wants to die, but everyone dies. No one wants to grow old, but everyone grows old. We must understand the origin of this enforcement. The supreme authority, the supreme force is God. You may call this God nature or whatever, but you must admit that there is something supreme controlling you. How can we philosophize and imagine that man can become God? Hagrid does. Dewey writes that a humanistic religion, if it excludes our relationship to nature, is pale and thin, as it is presumptuous when it takes humanity as an object of worship. Srila Prabhupada. For a God-conscious person, everything is worshipable, even an ant. But a supremely worshipable is God, Ishvara Paramah Krishna. Some people think that nature is the supreme, but those who are aware of God know that God is the controller of nature also. Maya Dakshina Prakriti Shuyate Sacharacharam. This material nature is working under my direction, and it is producing all moving and unmoving beings. Bhagavad Gita 9:10. Nature is only matter, and matter cannot act independently. Matter is being handled and controlled by a living being, who is the superior nature. Bhumirapo nalo vayu kam mano buddhirevacha. Bhagavad Gita 7:4. Earth, water, fire, air, fire, and so forth constitute inferior nature. Above and beyond this is the superior nature. The living entities are finite controllers, but above them is another controller, the supreme controller who is God. It is very easy to understand. There are two natures, an active and an inactive nature. Above both of these natures is an active personality who is controlling both. Shoma Sundar Das. As far as his methodology is concerned, do we believe that practical consequences are the only valid test of truth? He claimed that the proof of an idea consists in its being subject to predictable results. Srila Prabhupada. If an idea is concocted, its results cannot be ascertained. If it's factual, the results can be predicted. Shama Sundar Das. For Dewey, the object of inquiry is belief itself. Because we want something to believe in, we ask questions. This is the nature of inquiry. Srila Prabhupada. The Vedanta Sutra advises us to find out the ultimate cause of everything, to inquire into the absolute truth. But inquiries should be directed to a person who knows. Otherwise, what is the use in inquiring? The Vedas advise us to approach a bona fide spiritual master, a guru, if we want to find the truth. Unfortunately, at the present moment, there are many pseudo-gurus. Therefore, we have to add this word bona fide. Otherwise, the word guru means bona fide. Because one who is not bona fide cannot find a guru. No. Because one who is bona fide cannot be a guru. Here is say that again. Because in ISKCON they say that anyone can be guru. Even if he's not first class, he can be guru. Third class, he can be guru. But one who is not bona fide cannot be a guru. Now, when we speak of inquiry, we mean learning the truth. Therefore, we should inquire from one who knows the truth. Otherwise, our inquiry has no validity. Tatviti pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. Bhagavad Gita 4:34. This is the Vedic injunction. The inquiry should be genuine, and the answer should come from a genuine person. Shwama Sundar. Dewey believes that the final outcome of inquiry is the fulfillment of human needs. By practical action, we can change the external environment. Srila Prabhupada. Unless a human being inquires about the absolute truth, he is not considered sufficiently developed in his human form. For the consciousness to be developed, one must inquire about the self, asking, what am I? If the question is not asked, he is still in there's not the word, but he's still in the animal platform, I think. Hayagriv Das. Dewey felt that by inquiry we can determine what is wrong with our environment, act to change it, and fulfill human needs. Srila Prabhupada, if a person is serious, inquiry will clear up everything. If he inquires about the aim of human life, he is intelligent. It is not possible for animals to ask these questions. Animals are only eating, sleeping, defending, and mating. Shwama Sundar Das. But should the aim of inquiry be to change our external environment? Srila Prabhupada, if you are seriously inquiring, if you know things as they are, you will change your activities. We are preaching that it is our business to know Krishna. If people take this movement seriously, their entire mode of living will be changed. This is happening now. Previously, our students were leading a certain undesirable type of life, and since they have come to Krishna consciousness, their entire life has been changed. Shwama Sundar Das. Then, setting aside trying to improve the environment, we should try first to change our consciousness. Srila Prabhupada, it is the consciousness that needs to be changed, either by hearing from authority or by circumstances. There are two processes by which knowledge can be attained, by hearing and by direct experience. An intelligent person can understand by hearing. He knows that if he acts in such a way, he will fall into danger. So he learns by listening to authorities. A less intelligent man has to experience an awkward or dangerous position in order to change his consciousness. For him, hearing is not sufficient. Of the two processes, learning by hearing is better. It is therefore our process to approach the bona fide teacher and learn from him. That is the process of brahmacharya. It is not that we have to learn by practical experience. The experience is already there. We only have to hear of it and accept it. Then it becomes easier. We should not say, Let me fall into the ditch, then I shall cry. Better we take good advice and avoid the ditch altogether. Agrib does. In the realm of philosophy and religion, Dewey believes that certainty is impossible. He writes, any philosophy that is in quest for certainty ignores the reality of the uncertain in the ongoing process of nature, denies the conditions out of which it arises. Srila Prabhupada. There is uncertainty when you do not accept the reality. The reality is God, and God explains how nature is working. If we do not accept his explanations, our position is very precarious, very uncertain. But if God comes and reveals himself and his activities, and we consider them mythological, how can we be convinced? How can we ever be certain? Agrib does. For Dewey, there is but one sure road of access to truth, what he calls the road of patient, cooperative inquiry operating by means of observation, experiment, record, and controlled reflection. Srila Prabhupada. The record is there in the Mahabharata, and those who have seen have confirmed it. Vyasadeva, Narada, and Arjuna all confirm that everything is there in the record, but if people do not believe, how can they be convinced? Conditioned living entities do not have the perfect senses to see, and if they remain unconvinced, they will always live in darkness. They may go imagining in the dark, but they will never attain perfect knowledge in this way. Shyamasundar Das. Dewey set down 5 steps for solving problems and attaining truths. We observe a problem and consider its nature. We intellectualize and analyze it. We hypothesize and consider solutions. We analyze our hypothesis according to the past experience and choose possible solutions, and we put the solutions into practice. Srila Prabhupada, our process for solving problems is Krishna. Krishna says, Kauntya prati janihi name bhakta pranashyati. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. Bhagavad Gita 9:31. When we take shelter of Krishna, our problems are solved. Yatra
And Prabhu, I've
yes.
been looking for this scripture for long, and you're now reading it. Yeah.
Oh, Prabhu, you can read from next page.
Okay, Prabhu.
When we take shelter of Krishna, our problems are solved. Yatra Yogeshvara Krishna, Bhagavad Gita 1878. Krishna is the reservoir of all mystic power. He is Yogeshvara. It is not that Bhakta's business to strive to become a yogi. Rather, he takes shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is Yogeshvara, the master of all mystic power. We consider this to be solution to all our problems. Daivihyesa gunamai mama maya duratyaya mame vaye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. This divine energy of mind consisting of 3 modes of material nature is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Bhagavad Gita 7:14. There are various methods for solving problems, but the best method is to surrender unto Krishna. Then all problems are solved. Shyamasundar Das. On the social platform as well. Haribol, you can continue, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Okay, Prabhu. Can I disconnect my headset?
Haribol.
Srila Srila Prabhupada. Yes, everything is solved. For instance, the Pandavas had a political problem. And when they took shelter of Krishna, their political and social problems were solved. Sayam Sundaradas. Is it Sayam Sundaradas? For Dweni, truth must satisfy human needs and improve social conditions. He sees truth as a practical tool. We are we are the ones who have created social problems. Krishna is perfect, and whatever Krishna had created is perfect. Purnam Adaha Purunam Idam Ishopanishad invocation. Things appear to be imperfect because we disobey Krishna's order. If we remain faithful to Krishna, there are no problems. People speak of truth, but unfortunately, they do not know the truth. Nate vidu sarvata gatim hi vishnum duryasya Ye Bahir Atara, Manina, Ananda Yata Handari, Yata Nandahir, Upaniyam Manas, Tepisa Tara, Tantarayam, Uru Damani Badaha. Persons who are strongly entrapped by the consciousness of enjoying material life and who have therefore accepted as the leader or guru a similar blind man attached to eternal sense objects cannot understand that the goal of life is to return home back to Godhead and engage in the service of Lord Vishnu. As blind men guided by another blind man, blind men miss the right path and fall into a ditch. Materially attached men led by another led by another material attached men are bounded by the ropes of fruitive labor, which are made of very strong cords, and they continue again and again in materialistic life, suffering the threefold miseries. Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.31. The ultimate truth, the ultimate objective is Vishnu. Unfortunately, people are trying to solve the problem of this world without referring to Vishnu. Of course, this is not possible. How does worship of Vishnu solve social problems? Men who executes this Varnarsharam Dharma satisfies Vishnu. The Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Sudras have various prescribed duties. If they follow them, all problems are solved. Unfortunately, in India, this Varnarsharam Dharma has been killed. Now everyone is a Shudra. The word Sudra refers to an unintelligent person. Since everyone is unintelligent, how can they solve problems? What can they do? They are trying to run a democratic, is it democratic government according to the votes of Shudras. But Shudras cannot solve anything. Once America belonged to the Red Indians, but they did not develop it. Why couldn't they improve their condition? The land and everything else was there. But when the Europeans came, they developed the land. Shudras cannot actualize anything. If we once again establish the Varnarsharam Dharma, all problems will be solved. That was the plan of my Guru Maharaj. Daiva Varnarsharam refers to that which is stated by Krishna. The Varnas are not established by birth but by qualification. By qualification, one is a Brahmana or a Shudra. By following the course prescribed for our Varna, we can certify the Lord Vishnu and is in this way be happy. Dewi writes, the good man is the man who no matter how morally worth he has been is moving to become better. Growth itself is the only moral end. In the beginning, a devotee may stay do nothing wrong, but because he has taken to Krishna consciousness, he is accepted as a sadhu. Apicheta sudaracharo bhajate mam ananya baka. Sadhu evasa mantavaya samangaya vyasito he saha. Even if one commits the most abdominal action, he is he is engaged in devotional service. He is considered saintly because he is properly situated. There may be many discrepancies in one's life, but if one's heart is in the right place, if he is working for Krishna consciousness, he is considered a sadhu, even though he has not corrected his bad habits. Kshiparam bhavati dharmatma sajva sasvak chanintim nigachati. He quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. Bhagavad Gita 9 verse 31. Because he has taken to Krishna consciousness, all his bad habits will be rectified very soon. In other words, he is striving to improve his moral condition. Yes, if one takes to Krishna consciousness, his morality will gradually develop. Yasyati Bhaktir, Bhagavati, Akinchana, Sarvai, Gunais Tatra Samaste, Saraha. All the demigods and the exalted qualities such as religion, knowledge, and renunciation become manifest in the body of one who has developed unalloyed devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. Srimad Bhagavatam 5:18-12. All good qualities will automatically come. We should stick to the four regulative principles, avoiding illicit sex, intoxication, meat eating, and gambling. And we should chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra by abiding by the orders of the spiritual master. Everything will automatically develop. All good moral qualities will follow. It is not that we have to develop these qualities separately or independently. All good qualities are already there in the spirit soul, but presently they are covered by material contamination. When we are purified by Krishna consciousness, all these original qualities emerge. Herishikena, Herishikesha, Servana, Bhaktir Uchate, Bhaktira Rasamrita, Rasamrita Sindhu of the master of the senses, Krishna. That is the process of bhakti. Dway did not believe in absolute good or evil. Each situation must be treated individually. Whatever is done in Krishna consciousness is good, and whatever is done for something other than Krishna's satisfaction is useless, although it may be ethically correct. He felt that the greatest good is in the elimination of the greatest evil. It is the fulfillment of man's greatest needs. The highest objective is Krishna. Vishnu, by becoming by becoming a Vaishnava, we attain the highest perfection of human life. The greatest need is Krishna consciousness, pure, supreme consciousness. Every living entity is Krishna's part and parcel. Mamai Vamso, Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta, Sanatana. The living entities is the conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Bhagavad Gita 15-7. Therefore, we must always remember that being part and parcels of Krishna, it is our duty to serve Krishna. It is perverted. It, in perverted consciousness, we think I am Krishna, I am God. That is not Krishna consciousness. Dway believed that we should not choose good or evil simply on the basis of some theory. We should choose in order to alleviate specific evils. The Vrirata Rupa, the universal form of the Lord, was manifest before Arjuna. Arjuna then saw that everything within the universe is part and parcel of that Virata Rupa, within which everything has a function, a duty. When we work according to that function, problems are automatically solved. For Dway, we can never attain absolute certainty or perfection. We can only attain higher levels of moral progress. This means that he has no knowledge of absolute perfection. The world can be made better by man's effort, but perfection in the world is not possible. That is a different thing. The world is so made that if you perfect it today, tomorrow it will be deteriorate. It will deteriorate. I did not see that last part, but since therefore, in one sense, you cannot make it perfect, but you can improve it. Paritaranaya sadahunam vinusasya cha dusketam dharma samstapanarataya sambhavami yuge. In order to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I appear myself millennium after millennium. Bhagavad Gita 4-8. Any bad condition can be improved by Krishna consciousness. Krishna and Krishna consciousness are the same. If you are in Krishna consciousness, you are living with Krishna, and if you are living with Krishna, then what is your fear? On the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Arjuna was fearless because Krishna was beside him. Samastrita ye pada palavam Mahata padam padam punya yaso murare bavam budir vatsa padam param 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 pada param padam para yeah padam param padam 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 yata vipadam nate sam. For one who has accepted the abode of the lotus feet of the Lord, who is the shelter of the cosmic manifestation and is famous as Mukunda, the giver of liberation, the ocean of the material world is like the water contained in a calf's hoof print. Vaikunta is his goal, not the place where there is danger at every step. Shrimad Bhagavatam 10:14 to 58. In this material world, there is danger at every step, but as soon as we understand Krishna, we become eligible to be transferred to the spiritual world. Janma karma cha me divyam. Evam yo veti tadvata. Tadvata ha. Tyaktva. Deham papuna janma. Naita mama eti so Arjuna. Arjuna. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attain my eternal abode. O Arjuna. Bhagavad Gita 4 to 9. So people are removed from all dangers or evil by becoming Krishna conscious. Certainly, therefore, this is the best welfare activity for the entire world. By other means, people oh wait, I lost my place now. People may be able to give some temporary benefit or temporary relief, but the situation will again deteriorate. You may give charity to a need man, and this charity will serve him for a temporary period. But if you give him Krishna Prema, he is immediately transferred to the spiritual world. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is called the most munificent incarnation because he has. Yes, Prabhu, we can go down. He has delivered Krishna Prema to the world. Namo Mahavadanyaya. Krishna Prema Pradaya Te Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Visa Namaha. But the goal of the ultimataries is to achieve what the people desire and require. The people desire and require happiness, but they are searching for it in a temporary thing. Rasba, Rasyaba, Uvacha, Nayam Deho Deha, Bajam, Narloke, Kasantan, Kastan, Kaman, Arate Vid Buhujam, Je Tapov Divyam Putraka, Yena Sadvam Sudeyed, Yasmad Brahma Sahukayam, Tva Anantam. Lord Rasyabadeva told his son, my dear boys, of all the living entities who have accepted material bodies in this world, one who has been awarded this human form should not work hard day and night simply for sense gratification, which is available even for dogs and hogs that eat stool. One should engage in penance and austerity to attain the divine position of devotional service. By such activity, one's heart is purified, and when one attains this position, he attains eternal blessed life, which is transcendental to material happiness, and which continues forever. Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.1. Purify your existence, and you will attain eternal happiness and bliss. Everyone is working hard for happiness, but how can happiness be attained in a diseased condition? First, the disease must be cured because it is an impediment to happiness. The real disease is Janma Mrutiu Jara Visyadi. Bhagavad Gita 13.9. Birth, old age, disease, and death. Cure these and you will attain real happiness. Whatever you may desire, the ultimate end is happiness. Unfortunately, a diseased person is thinking, I am happy. This is a false happiness. This is false happiness. All Although you are dying, you are thinking that you are happy. This is called a fool's paradise. Dewey felt that the desirable course of action should meet certain conditions subject to prediction and should be based on judgments or appraisals that might serve as guidelines to future activity. This is predictable. You say, I don't want to die. I say, come to this position and you will not die. Is there some experience that would show this to be a predictable result? Yes, you can go down, Prabhu. Yes, you might not have the experience, but your superiors do. Abrahma Bhuvanal Lokaha. Purna Avartino Arjuna Mam Upeta tu Kaunteya Puna Janma na Vidyate. Vidyate, yeah. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, are all places of misery, wherein repeated birth and death take place, but one who attains to my adobe, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. Bhagavad Gita 8 to 16. If we go to Krishna, we will never come back to this material world again. Who who can excel Krishna's experience since he knows past, present, and future? It is not to our good to accept his instructions. Dwayne would recommend basing our judgment on personal experience. We may not have personal experience, but we can take the advice of a person who does. Such experience is as good as our own. You may not have gone to New York, but because others have purchased tickets there and gone and returned, you can take advantage of the experience and learn something about that place. Dwayne claims that value exists only where there is satisfaction. Unless you have faith in a person, how can you be satisfied? You should find a person in whom you can place your faith. Who can be a better person than Krishna? If a certain condition are met, satisfaction is transformed into value. If my hunger is satisfied by eating certain food, that food is given value. It is Krishna who gives that value in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna was refusing to fight, but because he valued Krishna and was satisfied by his faith in Krishna, he was victorious. For Dway, moral laws may serve as guidelines for action. They are comparable. They are comparable to physical laws in that if I act in a certain way, I can expect a certain result. We prescribe Adu Sardaha, Tada Sadu Sango, Tada Bajana Kriya, Tado Natara Nivita Isiato Tato Nista Ruchis, Tada Atashakti Stado Bavas Tada Premabaya Prema Buya Brudanchanti Sadakanam Ayam Pradubhave Bhaveta Kramaha. In the beginning, the neophyte devotee must have a preliminary desire for self-realization. This will bring him to the stage of trying to associate with persons who are spiritually elevated. In the next stage, he becomes initiated by an elevated spiritual master, and under his instructions. Yes, Prabhu, we can go down. Beginning the process of devotional service by execution of devotional service under the guidance of the spiritual master, he becomes free from all material attachment, attains steadiness in self-realization, and acquires a taste for hearing about the absolute personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. This taste leads him further forward to attachment for Krishna consciousness, which is matured in bhava, or the preliminary stage of transcendental love of God. Real love for God is called prema, the highest perfectional stage of life. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. If you follow one step after the other, you get the results. If you have faith and associate with the devotees, you will be eager to execute devotional service. Then all misgivings are eradicated and your faith becomes firm. Unless you experience the next results, how can you make progress? Moral guidelines are also given by Rupa Goswami. Udasyahan Nischaya Dahari Yat. tada tada karma pravaratanat sangha tiagat satov riteha sadibir ba baktira prasidati. There are six principles favorable to the execution of pure devotional service: being enthusiastic, endeavoring with confidence, being patient, acting according to the regulative principles such as Shravanam, Kritanam, Vishnu Smaranam, hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna, abandoning the association of non devotees and following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. These six principles undoubtedly assures the complete success of pure devotional service. Upadesaramrita. 3. We should be patient, enthusiastic, and firmly convinced. We should be fair in our dealings and should associate with saintly persons. In this way, we can advance. Then the results follow. These guidelines predictably and automatically. Yes, one after another. A teacher instructs his students, and when they realize one instruction, he gives another, then another. In this way, the students can make progress. Consider the guidelines. For of First of all, we must be enthusiastic. Unless we are enthusiastic, how can we enter into any activity? We should also be patient. We should not, oh, I am working so hard, but I'm getting no results. The results will come in time. We should also have firm conviction that because we have taken the path of the Mahagyanas, the path prescribed by Krishna, success is imminent. Although success may be delayed, it does not really matter. We must know that success will definitely come. We must also perform our prescribed duties fairly and in good faith, and we should also associate with saintly people. This will give us impetus. If we follow these guidelines, the result is certain and predictable. Dwayne believes that moral laws are not inflexible, absolute rules that never permit exceptions. The real moral law is the law of the Supreme. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna described many different types of yoga: dhyana yoga, jnana yoga, hatha yoga, and so on. However, at the end, he said, Sarva Dharman, pra, paritagya. Abandon all these dharmas and surrender unto me. Can I just make a screenshot, Prabhu? Okay. Abandon all these dharmas and surrender unto me. Bhagavad Gita 18 to 66. Krishna's word is the ultimate morality. Vaishnavas do not consider this or that moral or immoral. Whatever Krishna or his representative orders is moral. That is our position. Dway claims that we place value upon that which we must act on. Yes, there is certainly value in Krishna, and because Arjuna followed the decision of Krishna, he became victorious, enjoyed his kingdom, and became a famous devotee. These were practical results of his activity. Pra, Pari, Parikshit Maharaj compared the battle of Kurukshetra to a great ocean in which Bhishma, Dorona, Karna, and others were like great sharks. It was important for his grandfather Arjuna to cross that ocean, which was dangerously infested with many ferocious fish. Although he was very difficult, by the grace of Krishna, it was possible. Yatra Yogesha Varaha, Krishno Yatra Parato, Dahunar Dahara, Tatra Sriri, Vijayo, Butir Dhruva, Nitir, Matiri, Mama. Whatever there is, Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme Archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. This is my opinion. Bhagavad Gita 18 to 78.
Haribol. You finished.
Is it finished?
Haribol.
The first.
Thank you so much.
Haribol.
Haribol.
Haribol, Prabhu.
Okay, next chapter will be this existentialism. But I think we will Let's see how long it is.
When are we going to watch Prabhu?
7, 8. We can watch now some drama.
Oh yes, yes.
There is heavy rain
How
going
many
on.
pages left?
But Prabhu,
Sorry? I
we
was
have
like, how many pages left?
like 100 or 90 maybe or 80.
Oh, how many have we read?
480.
Yeah, that is progress, eh?
Yes, bro. Okay, let's first read the 6 Astokam prayers. चेतो दर्पणमर्जनं भवमहादावाग्निर्वापनं श्रेयः कैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणं विद्यावादुजीवनम् आनन्दं बुद्धिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतस्वादनं सर्वात्मा स्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनम्
Nam Nam Akari Bahuda Nija Sarva Sakti Statat Tripita Nimyamita Smaranena Kalaha Etat Trishi Twava Kripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaivam Etrisha Ahai Jani Nanu Agraha.
त्रिनादपि सुनीचेन तरोरपि सहिष्णुना अमानिना मनादेन कीर्तनीया सदा हरिः
Haribo. Natanam न
Nadanam. Oh, it's yours. Okay.
नतनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितां वा जगदीशकामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवताद्भक्तिरहैतुकी त्वयि
Ainandanam tanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhavam bedo kripaya twava pada pakanjaya stitadu lisadrisham vichintaya.
नयनं गलदश्रु विटारया वदनं गद्गदरुदया गिरा पुलकैर्निचितं वपु कदा तव नाम ग्रहणे भविष्यति
युगायितं निमेषेण चक्षुषा प्राविश्यायितं शून्यायितं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्दविरहेण मे
Asisliava padam ratam pinastumam adrisanam marmam hatam karotuva yatata dava vidatu lampato matprananatastu saervanarpana.
Haribo, glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. The Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious.
O my Lord, oh my Lord, your holy names alone can render all benediction to living beings. And thus you have hundreds and millions of names, like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. Oh my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names. But I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them.
One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly.
O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth.
O son of Maharaj Nanda, Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet.
O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love, flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name?
O Govinda, feeling of separations, I'm considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence.
I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace, or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipable Lord unconditional.
Haribo, Sri Siksastakam Ki Jai.
Jai.
Yeah, then quickly the 10 offenses also.
I think
First
to
off,
blaspheme to blaspheme the devotees to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy names of the Lord. To consider the second one, I think it's to consider the names of the demigods like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma to be equal or independent of the holy names of the names of the Lord Vishnu.
Haribo,
To
The
disobey
third
the
one.
order.
Yeah, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master.
Haribo,
To
consider
blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in preference to the Vedic version.
the glories of the holy name to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination.
And to interpret the holy names of I think to interpret the holy names of the Lord.
Yes, Prabhu.
And 7 to is it about sins, ne?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes. To commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name.
To consider to consider chanting of the holy name to be one of the auspicious ritualistic activities mentioned in the Vedas as fruitive activities, karma kanda.
Yeah, that one you know, eh?
Yes, Prabhu. 9th one is to instruct the faithless person about the glories of the holy name. 10th one is to not have faith in chanting the holy name and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success. Krishna Prema.
Haribo. Panchakalpatrupyascha kripa sindhuvacha paritanam panipyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha.
Vaishnavebhyo namaha.
Thank you so much, Prabhu, for joining the reading.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Semi Prabhu, I say the